Hi, my name is Courtney Terry, and this is Arts Alive, sponsored by the Arts Alliance of Yamhill County and produced by Meadow Lake Studios. And my guest today is Bonnie Hickerson, local multimedia artist, former educator, all sorts of things. Welcome. So you just participated in the Art Harvest Tour.
Correct.
Was that your first year doing that, or have you done it before?
No, that was actually my third year.
Third year?
Yeah, it was really good.
Were you out of the, and I'm trying to remember, were you in a gallery with some other artists, or did you host?
Actually, I was at my own place.
Oh,
I do have my own studio.
Oh, cool.
So my husband built for me. So
Nice. Well done. And that's kind of out in the Amity area?
Yes.
Great. Oh, that's so cool. And did you have a lot of people coming in? How was that experience?
It was really good. A few less, but more sales. So
Okay. That's all we asked for.
And older paintings
Okay.
sold, so that was good. Some work that I thought, on a whim put out and didn't expect, so that was nice. One was hanging up that wasn't even for sale, and a person walked in, he was buying another painting, and he looked up and he goes, "I want that one."
Yes.
It's like, I have to think of a price.
Well done. I assume you did. Well, and we were talking that there's so many different medias that you are involved in artistically, and so there's painting.
I do acrylic painting, a little bit of, most of it is mixed media.
Oh, cool. So
I do some metal work that I've put into the paintings. I've done watercolor with the acrylic, some pencil work with acrylic, and just a variety of different things that I throw in there. And then I've done some jewelry making. More recently, the ceramics, I've been doing some ceramic work, which has been fun.
I like this piece here, which it's so cool. It's beautiful. I love the kind of the comparison of the inside to the glaze on the outside.
I like really textured surfaces, and I think once I started the ceramics, which is interesting because a friend gave me a kiln, and 6 months went by and another friend kept bugging me, have you used that kiln yet? And it was like, fine, I will use the kiln.
And voila!
So self-taught on all of my artwork, pretty much.
That's incredible.
And so when I first started the ceramics, I didn't really like it. I don't have a pottery wheel, although I'm looking into that direction.
Okay.
But the hand building at first, it was just, didn't really like it, but the more that I did it, the more I like it. And I think it's that 3D and the feeling, so you get the texture and you get the 3D and just the ability to do different things with different glazes.
Yeah.
And I've done some raku now, which is really fun.
Oh, those are so pretty too.
And who could resist, fire and
Yes.
glowing
always got to get the pyrotechnics in there. Absolutely.
And now, most recently, I'm starting to do some tooling, which is metal embossing. I guess more people know it by metal embossing.
Okay.
But that's kind of an exploration. So I've just started messing with that, and now have some ideas to combine that with the ceramics.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So we'll see if that works out.
And do you feel like when you're kind of finding new art forms, have you found yourself like do you still get motivated to do the painting mixed media, or is it kind of like, I'm going to set this aside for a while and focus on this?
You know, I a few times have picked it up recently, and then I look at the clay and it's like, okay, I gotta get back to this.
This is more exciting.
Yeah, and I think I'm more drawn to ceramics than I have been to anything else.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting. Although I have recently, I've done soft pastels, and I really love soft pastels, except that you have to put it under glass, and that I don't like so much. But I'm kind of thinking, you know, I need to do some more soft pastel. I think that's a feeling thing, because the soft pastels, you put it on, and I end up getting it on my fingers, and I end up using
that's
my
a whole
fingers.
yeah, that's a whole part of the creative process.
So that may be something that I go back to for a little bit. But I kind of jump around because I get bored with something and uninspired, and then I think that's why mixed media tends to happen, because it's like, oh, I could use that with this. That makes it more interesting.
I kind of wish earlier when you were talking about having a piece that's like acrylic paint and watercolor or and pencil, and it's just, are you just at your artist's table, bench, space, and just saying like, oh, I'm picking that. Like when you start, is it such a, does it feel like it's a kind of impromptu process creating your art?
Always impromptu.
Nice, yes. Good.
Yeah, I go up with maybe an idea of something that I'm going to work on, and I find myself going up and looking at it going, you know, I think I better do this.
Yes.
So it bounces around. I'm too ADD or something, I guess.
Artistic. It's part of the creative process. You don't get stuck in one path. You find them all.
And it is fun. I have recently been kicking around the idea of going back into working with kids with art, and kind of, you know, the idea is processing.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that, you know, for troubled kids, it's a good way to maybe get them doing something that helps them heal or talk or whatever they need to do. So I'm kind of kicking that idea around.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thinking about that.
Well,
so.
and I feel like, especially, you know, art can kind of meet you where you are. So it doesn't necessarily matter like your experience or your skill level. You can create something at any level. And
everybody can.
Everybody can.
Everybody can. So yeah.
And so you were an educator for
a number of years.
Considering my own child was in one of your classes, yes. And so going back into working with kids, and did you find you had a lot of time, like when you were teaching? Is that kind of where have you always been artistic and kind of exploring creativity, or is it something you found later?
It is something that I found later, and that actually came through teaching. I was hired to teach K through 5th grade art with a science focus or science with an art focus. And I was hired at the beginning of the summer. It was kind of a whim to even apply for the job because I didn't have that in my background.
Oh my goodness.
So they had me teach a lesson right there during the interview, which A, I was surprised I got the interview. B, they wanted me to teach the lesson, and they wanted me to teach primary colors. So I'm walking down the hall and smiling and thinking, gosh, I think I remember what primary colors are.
Right, yes, okay.
And so I taught the lesson with, okay, who can tell me what a primary color is? That was my first question.
That's very smart. That is very smart. Yeah.
And got hired, and so it was a mad dash to, you know, learn about art and then kind of figure out how to teach art.
Right.
And I'm a true believer in, if I haven't done something, I'm not going to ask somebody else to do it. And so I did all of the lessons prior to having the kids do the lessons, and just found that I really enjoyed it, and it was the best teaching job I think I've ever had. But it was only three-quarter time health benefits, and I couldn't afford to do it. So back into which third grade was the end of my career, but it was third graders. They're a great age.
I know.
Great age.
Well, and I can just imagine, because it's, they're starting to get some kinds of confidence in what their abilities and what they can do, and they're willing to kind of explore a little bit more.
They are. And they go from being kind of babies into people.
I know, like older kids.
Yeah. So, and I was able to bring that art experience into the regular ed classroom then, which was nice to have that and to bring that in. So
yeah, especially considering how many, just the arts in a lot of schools these days, there's just not as much time or space for it. So
there's not. It's a sad thing. It's a real sad thing.
Yes. But so potentially reaching out, sharing your art with more kids, and that's wonderful. Yeah. And do you have your own studio? Do you have other places around town where you have art?
I have a little bit in Ten Oaks, or the gallery at Ten Oaks.
Yes.
And there's Land and Sea Gallery is putting up their holiday show, and I have work up there that's going up today and tomorrow. I guess they're hanging the work. Oh, okay. So that'll be up there, and I'm hoping that a lot of people go in.
Yeah. Well, that'll be. I didn't realize it was a holiday show.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I always feel a little unconfident because I look at other art and it's like, wow, that's really good. What makes me think that my work is?
No. So then it's good, and like that's the whole great thing about a gallery is getting to see. I never feel like it's about skill level. It's just about like different experiences and what different people are into.
It's fun. I mean, I really enjoy looking at work, just varieties of work. And so it's just interesting. And you look back in history and the history of art, and it's just amazing how things have progressed.
Yes. And just in terms of, because would you say the mixed media, do you feel like is that a more kind of modern contemporary style of art, or do you see, I'm trying to sound smarter than I actually am about this topic. We do our
I'm
best.
not very smart.
I mean, yes. Art through history.
I think that, I'm thinking way back, and it's, when people talk about art way back, it seems like mostly it's sculpture or it's painting, just generally I think that's what I've heard and what I see. And so I think mixed media, I think it is more, modern. I'm not sure how modern.
We are not art scholars, it's fine.
Yeah, but it is interesting. And yeah.
Well, and especially, I know the work of yours that I've seen, like, what you're saying about texture and just how much, even if you can't actually touch the art, just seeing it and seeing those different layers. But, well, we are already out of time. This has been so wonderful talking with you, Bonnie. Thank you for coming in and sharing more about your art and your art style. And
thank you.
We'll be sure to go by Land and Sea Gallery for the holiday show, or Gallery at Ten Oaks to see some of your work there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And this is Courtney Terry, and this has been Art to Life.